Okay, I am going to be starting on this canvas back here. I took the old painting off and have rolled it up. It's being sold off the frame because of its size, and the shipping is safer to do that and a lot less expensive. And the collector on the other end will get it restretched locally. This is a 48 by 72. This is a cotton canvas that I got from Jerry's Autorama, and it is more beige in color than the white, so I haven't decided. Let's see if I can get the light on over there. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, what kind of painting I'm going to paint on there. So that's to be determined. But I wanted to kind of just show you the what I did to stretch the canvas. There's a ton of videos out there on, and I've even put one out on how to stretch a canvas, but I did show, part of it. And I will just show the creation of this canvas and my progress. I thought I would actually show you before I start what the painting ended up. I did a technique in this painting that I've never done before, and I want to make sure I show that to you because I really liked how it helped with my underpainting. And when you have an underpainting that is strong, when you add your marks to the top, and I kept my marks still, I wanted this a very kind of like a moody, not a bold painting, very abstract painting. I wanted that. I wanted lots of marks and things to look at, but I didn't want one particular area to really stand out. This new technique, and if you keep watching, you'll see what I do that I had never done to this extent before. So it was something that was worth showing you. I'm glad I did tape this. These are two examples. Like I said, it's 72 inches long, 48 inches wide. But this is what they would look like if you were to display them in a particular room. So pictures don't do it justice. So I wanted to show these to you before I got started so that you could get an idea of where the painting, as I'm doing it's going to end up. All right, I wanted to include this part. Some of it may be a little bit blurry because I'm actually moving my mobile camera around, and I am finishing the stretching, and I don't go into a lot of detail here on the stretching. That's not what this video is about, but there is a technique to it. I'm actually just finishing up and doing the corners, but you do opposite sides when you stretch the canvas to get it a nice taut. There are tools out there to help you. I just pull it pretty taut. This will eventually be taken off of the frame again to resell it. But I then take the canvas and I put it up against something and I spray it with water to tighten because it is cotton. So we're now at the point where I'm going to start the painting of this canvas. And I have taken the canvas and put it flat. And if you see a cut in the tape, anytime that I have the camera over here in the corner, anytime I walk in front of the camera, I've cut it out so that you're not looking at the top of my head. But again, that's airbrush medium, by the way. I am deciding that I want my paint to soak into the canvas. It's not unprimed. It's a primed canvas, but I want some soaking of the paint. So I took some titanium white and I mixed it with some airbrush medium, and then you may not see me, but I also mix in some water to thin the paint. And so whatever color I'm using, I use a lot of the goldens, high flow and golden, just the regular flow. And I use turquoise, I use aquamarine blue, but I never go into specific colors because I feel that you can pick out some of the colors you like. But I'm mentioning the colors because there are some people who want to know. But I use titanium white. Excuse me. I use a lot of high flow and then the regular golden, the fluid. And with this particular, I start with a very liquidy white, and the whole process of this painting, I'm going as I feel. I don't have a plan, and I'm just going to splash it on the canvas, and then you'll see me grab tools, and I just grab whatever painting tools I see around. There is like a spatula right there. It's called a shaper. I grab a painting tool that they use with paint to smear the paint out. I grab a painting edger, and I'm just trying different tools that might smear the paint into the canvas. I mean, that's my goal at this particular point. Like I said, I don't have a thought of which direction I'm going in, but at any point, some of these points, I could have stopped, and I'm glad I didn't on this particular painting because I took a lot of risks in this painting. And I'll tell you at the point where I'm at that I tried a different technique, and it's coming down the road here, but this is a long video, so I will talk through some of it, but I'm going to put some of it on high speed or higher speed so that you can still see what I'm doing, but you don't get like bored of just watching me slowly paint and think through the painting. I'm just basically grabbing tools that I see over in my box. I have two big boxes. Some are handmade tools, some are just regular tools. And that tool that I'm pushing the paint in, it did suction the paint. It's a very smooth tool that pushes the paint around, but it would suction to the paint. So I'd lift it up, and it would actually get suctioned into the paint. I'm pulling off some, one of the brushes I had there lost some of its fibers, so I'm pulling off some of that. But, adding that in, I could have left it and it would have added a nice, texture into the canvas. So, but at this point, since I had white paint. So I'm going to put some of this on fast forward and stop if there's something that I want to, make of notation for you. So at this point, I grabbed another color, and I think that's just a mixture. I think I took the titanium white and I put it in a couple of those larger cups, and I just mixed some Titan Buff in there. I mixed some other browns in there. I just grabbed a couple colors and mixed them so there was a harmonious thing going. And I'm just spreading the paint out on the canvas. And as always, my hands get into the paint. I did wear gloves this time because I knew. In fact, when I went to bed that night, before I had gotten bed, I had to take a bath because I had paint everywhere. It soaked through my clothes. Not only did it soak through the canvas that I was painting on, it soaked through my clothes. It was on every toe of mine. It was on the bottom of my feet. It was all over the place. Well, at this point, I had some beautiful colors, and I could have left it to soak in as it was. It was like an underwater type scene. I wanted to take a risk, and I knew I wanted to do something different. And so I was tilting the canvas so that I could just let the water or the paints, the watery paints, just blend in. I added some more of the ultramarine blue all over because I knew that I needed a contrast. And this is when I really started to think, what can I do that maybe I haven't done before on a large scale that would be a dramatic thing in this painting? So I grabbed the paper towel, and it's the blue industrial paper towel, and you can see me lift and laying it down, and it gets very saturated with the paint, which is what I wanted. And so I'm just picking it up and putting it down, and I'm having to replace the entire strip several times because it gets so saturated with paint and it loses the purpose. But it's taken the colors that I have and just flattening. And I've done this before on a small scale with like deli paper or brown paper, and it's worked just fine. But in this particular case, I wanted to see what it would do on a large scale. Now, some of the colors there muted too much, so I knew I had to go in and repeat the process. Now I've taken the final painting and I've put it in here as a visual for you to see where I was going. I didn't know what it would look like, but I had an idea. So that's why I decided to take the shop towels, paper towels, the blue paper towels, and go through and do another layer of mopping up the really heavy. I left some areas, I did it crooked on some areas. I just wanted to mop up as much as I possibly could to get down to that muted look. So I got down to this point and I knew that I needed to be a little more detailed about where I was pulling the paint from. So I decided to use the roll as its whole thing and roll. Sometimes I rolled and let the paper spread out. Sometimes I rolled and just kept the roll together. But I let it kind of do its thing. And you can see now why I had paint all over me. But it was so much fun. And again, I had to keep ripping off the top layer and reapplying the paper towel roll. So I kept doing this until I felt pretty satisfied at the amount of paint I had pulled off. And I loved how what was left, the layers, every single layer and splatter of paint that I had put on there, there was a remnant of it on the canvas, which was beautiful. And that's exactly what I was going for. And as I'm winding down on this, I just look at the canvas and I'm really amazed that some of the layers underneath had already dried and soaked in to the canvas, and the marks had soaked in. So what was left was just this top layer that I was blotting off. Alright, as you see behind me, this is where I'm at. And the last thing that you saw, I put a lot of fluid type of paint down. And then the last thing I did was I took the industrial blue paper towels and I just stretched them out and laid them down on the painting to soak up a layer, and again to soak up another layer. And I'll put a clip in of up close, but it turned out, I mean, I'm really loving where it's going. I think I want more color. I'm going to be picky about how I'm going to add the color, because I really like what I have. So I'm not quite sure if I want to do too much more. I'm not sure at this point. But where we're at right now is it's dry, it's been overnight, and I'm ready to attack the canvas a little bit more with some more ideas. I don't really know where I'm going to go. I may start with a palette knife at this point. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to put the other camera on and let you just watch the direction I'm going. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see what I want to do. Just that little bit I like. It's just enough to... Let's see. Right to the... These are pigment sticks, and they dry really nicely, but you have to like break. There's a hard coating, and I actually broke this, but there's a hard coating on here that you break off. let's see. I'm going to make up some color with a palette knife and use it's backwards. Alright, I have to change that later, but in the meantime, there's a gray and there's like a green. You see, this is a Titan green pale. I'm just playing with adding some. What I'm trying to do is just add some bolder shapes because I have a lot of the smaller shapes and I want some larger shapes. Okay, let's see. I may want to do a shock and awe type. I may want to have a couple. This is the ultramarine blue, and it's the high flow. So I have a little bit. This is lighter over here, so I'm bringing in some of that dark. Just to give it a little contrast up there. And since I put it up there, I think I'll put some down here. Mess a little bit with that. The camera may not get all the spots, but another thing is I love just to use my fingers. spots. Almost out of that paint, but it's just enough to enjoy some spots. I need to add some contrast, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Well, that was like a purple. Well, I wasn't sure I liked the purple. I thought that was black. So let's, I mean, that's okay. Let's, I want, and just a touch, so let's maybe use a stick and do some orange. Just enough of a touch. I love the orange, and the reason why the orange is appealing is because it's a contrasting color. And I'm just taking a stick and dipping it down in. Just get a tip of color. Alright, now, let's see, what else do I want? Maybe another little touch of Shopping Off pink. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm not sure how much more I want. I think I want some white in there though. And I was going after, let's see if there's a difference in this green, because I might want, it's about the same as this other pale green, so I'm not going to go too far with that. But I do think I want some white, and I want the white to be very airy. So I am going to use these. You can't find anymore, but it's a very long brush. I'm going to use some titanium white. That's Titan Buff. Titanium white. It's not high flow, but we'll make it high flow by putting some water with it. to do some sgraffito from real far away. There's some different spots. It's enough of just a fun little white. So all I wanted was just some touches of white. I think we're going to hang this as this is. The only other color I might want to do is, no, I've got the brown in there. I think we're going to go hang this and see what it looks like in the spot of the painting, and I like where it is. I like the background. I like the mottled look that the paper towel gave it. I like the extra chaotic marks on it. I like how, if you see on the right hand side, I used a tool, how that had already soaked into the canvas. So there was layers and layers and layers in history that came through on this, and then the very top marks that I added. And those top marks are off the What Do I Love sheet. You know, these are the marks that I love the most in my paintings. And so I'm happy with the painting. And just so you know, I don't have a professional setup. I'm an artist, so I have lots of art supplies and canvases and things like that. I don't have professional cameras, so I do the best I can to show you some techniques, to give you ideas, because I want to share the knowledge I have. So I just don't have the best, you know, I don't have big lights and things like that. But I think that I'm hoping this was helpful to you, and that you enjoyed it. It's a lot of work to do these large paintings. It's a lot of work to do them in a way to capture the work for you to see. Because normally I don't have a camera on me, and I can put the canvas up and down and all around and however I want it to paint, and not worry about, do I have it at an angle that somebody else can see. So I was dealing with that, and I don't like to be on the camera. I hesitate with that, but I wanted to show you a larger painting and my larger painting style, that it was worth giving this a try for you. So give it a like to let me know that you made it to the end, and that you know, you might want to try this, or that you appreciated the time I put into it. And I mean that in a nice way. I mean that in a way to encourage me if you want me to do more larger paintings. But thank you for being with me. Thank you for being a part of my art journey. And I really hope that you were able to pull something from this to put into your practice.